Welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ToV Podcast live recording. This is episode 40. ToV Podcast episode 40. Wow. What a milestone we have. My goodness. Like a little over a year? That's 40 episodes. This one's going to be in the can soon enough. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Great to be here with you guys tonight. We have a lot to cover tonight because kind of on a little bit of a break, and then a lot of things happened, and we need to kind of go over some things that have happened that we've some of us have talked about already. But hello everybody, welcome. Hello there in the chat, Sebastian. Good to see you there in the chat. Hello everybody watching. I am Ryan, Tales of Valhalla, or you can call me Tails if right now for me Valhalla is a too difficult thing to say because I have a throat thing going on. Yes, I have a 5-year-old. It comes with the territory. And we have with us some of our panel. We have Jeremy, the Elysium. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing good.
Good to see you. We have the Rogue Idealist, Josiah. How are you?
Downright fantastic.
And we got Jason, Rock Robotics. Good to see you, sir.
Hello, everyone.
And we have Joe Crazy, who's totally out mind shackled. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I am fantastic.
There you go. There's those levels. That's what I wanted to see. Awesome. And then we have a guest on the panel tonight, Ryguy 266, or Ryan. And I feel so comfortable right now having another Ryan. It's just everything's balanced now. Everything is just so balanced. And Ryan, since this is your first time on the podcast, and Ryan is the guy who's written these short stories, Myths of Valhalla, that we've been reading for the past year. We're going to read another one tonight. But Ryan, go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, to the stream. Plug away what you want to plug away with. The floor is yours, sir, for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be here. This is my first time on the podcast, like you said, but I'm a longtime watcher of both Tales of Valhalla and the podcast. I'm Ryguy 266 on the forums. I do a lot of things on there. I play competitively, as he mentioned. I also write a lot of fiction stories that they've read, which has been awesome to have your guys' support. I run some local tournaments. I do, I like to paint and give stuff away to people. Most recently, and the thing that got me on here is I started up my own YouTube channel where I am streaming my competitive games and plan to upload like the edited battle videos later. I think that's sort of the last niche left is sort of fast-paced, comedically edited. I suppose that's maybe not the right word, but not edited so much for cleanness and structure, but more just for fun and entertainment. And there's always more room for more Heroscape games to watch.
For sure, absolutely.
So yeah, thanks for having me.
For sure. And yeah, links are in the description below for all of Ryan's stuff, his YouTube channel and such. So yeah, definitely check him out and show him some support and love all out there. So glad you could join us tonight, Ryan. And tonight we have a laundry list of things to talk about. We have a prize giveaway that we're going to do in a second. We're going to do a recap on Source, an update on Source, recap on Renegade. We have 2 stories, one by Ryguy, another the AI chat story that was kind of written through Jason's computer that we were going to read a while ago, but we didn't. We're going to read it tonight. And just other things that we're going to talk. It's just there's a laundry list of stuff. So how about we get to it? Hey, G-Busy, how you doing there in the chat? And so first thing we're going to start with is the contest. So here, let me bring this up. Spin the wheel. Now I am going to give a disclaimer here before. Okay, and this is the prize. This is a 3D printed Wu Saga painted by Roguescaper himself. And I will say this, I know there are names that I'm sure I missed that should be on this list. but I had an unfortunate mishap with all the comments on YouTube from that stream that they got deleted. So I've done my best, and I apologize for anybody whose name isn't on there. But still going to do this thing anyway. There will be more contests in the future. I guarantee it. So if there is a miss out, I heartily apologize. But let's just spin the wheel and see who gets this. All right, here we go. And it's spinning. Congratulations, Jekka2144. And I know Jekka did comment that night. So yep. Congratulations.
Oh, my kazoo.
You win this Woo Saga to add to your Heroscape collection. Congratulations. It is all yours. So I'll definitely be contacting you if you don't see this right now. I'll definitely be contacting you in the next little while, a day or two, and we're going to get that sent out to you. So congratulations. And now we move on to the next thing. Of course, we already did the shout out for Ryguy's channel, but I'm just going to show it real quick here. Let me get this here. So it's Ryguy Plays Games, relatively new channel, and nothing on the home, but there is that live stream that he did last week, and he's going to be, as he said, there's going to be more stuff in the future. So we got that, and then I just want to comment real quick, and I think Josiah can talk about this a little bit too. On Josiah's YouTube channel, he did this video on how to paint an NGC street lamp, and this is like terrain that's going to be playable. Is that correct, Josiah? My throat's already given out. Go ahead, speak.
Yeah, so it's NGC is releasing their Wave 3, which is kind of dealing with the name of it is like when new in street side. So we're bringing some elements that aren't used too often into your classic skate map, including street lamps. And so for the most part, they just kind of act as movement blockers if you're not running scenarios. But if you are, we have some scenarios we have where they, cause status conditions and complete darkness. They kind of combat that. So they're a fun way to play. They're really easy to print and paint, and definitely recommend if you do a lot of C3G, it's definitely a great add-on just for aesthetics to your battlefield as well.
Very cool. And link in description below for Heroscaper's YouTube channel. Also link in description for NGC. Like I said, everything we talk about basically link in description below for that. And let me see here. What next do I want? Let's see. Like I said, there's so many things. How about we do this? Okay, what we're gonna do is do a little bit of a recap on Renegade. The Renegade stream a couple weeks ago, we did live stream that. But I just want to get, for those of you who were there and who weren't there, I think that two significant things that were for that stream, and they were talked about afterward, is the terrain packs and the fact that there will be 2 waves next year. So, like I said, my voice is already going, so anybody who wasn't there that Saturday, or anybody who was, who has an additional thoughts on it, please say something.
All right. Well, so of course we have several individuals in the background and members of the Heroscape community who take the time to gather all the data, and we have a thread which is accessible on the Heroscapers forums that is basically just a rundown of all the important information from the Meet the Team. So I guess just to summarize some of the important things to note, that they did say it was a meet and greet. We were meant to be introduced to the team members, so it wasn't going to be this big old reveal. And I don't know why I want to say it in Spanish, but lo siento to anyone who thought otherwise, because guess what? We got exactly what they said it was supposed to be. But notwithstanding, there was some pretty good important things that I thought was important, and just quick review of that. I thought it was really cool that Lee was talking about trying to introduce a lower price range for those that don't have the opportunity to get into Heroscape at this time because of financial reasons. And it was like they were like a low cost entry point was what she was talking about. something similar to the master set, but not a master set, but like something like a starter set. They don't have names yet. Obviously, this is all discussion-based material, but the idea of it was really cool to think about because accessibility is really good, and getting more people to play the game is really good. So the idea of creating a lower price point for entry for new players was really, really cool to me to hear. I know they mentioned they're working on 3 terrain packs, and she would like for them to be more. So I mean that's crazy, right? Because like think into perspective, right? The terrain packs we got in the past, from the very beginning, was lava, ice. You know, we had the Forgotten Forest was the first one, right? That's already 3, but those didn't come out for like 3 years. Like I mean, it took a while for those to come out. Like they came out eventually, but I mean we're like probably 1 terrain set a year, and they're already designing 3 on the get-go. And she just got hired on Labor Day, so like within a month they've already got ideas for 3 terrain packs. That's pretty cool. I'm super stoked to see what those exactly entail, and even if they're just like modern adjustments to what we already have, like a new lava set or a new forest set, still cool with it. But if it's a new terrain, by all means, introduce me to new rules to make me cry in EscapeCon when they show up on a map. But you know, I'm always down to learn new stuff, so it's pretty cool. The idea that there's 3 terrain packs already in development is a really, really cool thing to think about. Let's see. I'm just kind of zooming through it, so it's not going to be like a.
No, that's fine. We don't need an in-depth discussion on that. We're just
no.
summarizing.
And if I may theory craft real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
My base off guess of what those 3 packs would be a legit terrain pack that gives you base terrain of sand, rock, and grass. One being the tropical trees and bushes, and the other one being the lore walls. That's my.
Fair.
I highly doubt they have the time to get out brand spanking new, redesigned, for our marketing pleasure, in time for next year. But that's my.
You'll see. I mean, they're being vague on purpose, so we'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah. You could tell that during the stream.
I do think they want to. Yeah, and Lee definitely explained that she had a lot that she couldn't say, which was the main reason why she was so quiet during the whole thing, because it was like there was a lot of gated content. Like they had to really, really mind what they were saying at the time. So I don't know exactly what that entails, but there's probably a lot more on the way, and next year's going to be pretty cool. We do have, let's see. They talked about playtesting for Heroscape. By the way, that's already been concluded. So just to give the heads up, if you are listening to the show right now and you are, oh, what playtesting? It's done. Don't wait for the next time. They have mentioned that they will be looking forward to trying to get more playtesters for future sets. But right now, the first wave of playtesters have already been selected. And just kind of to review the process of that, there's a Google Docs form that you fill out. And then they get your email and they select from all those Google Docs that have been filled out. And then you have to sign an NDA saying that you're not allowed to talk about what you're playtesting. And then from that point, I and no one else shall know what you are doing. So if you do get selected, we don't know. We don't know who's the playtesters. They've already been selected.
Jeremy,
so I think it's pretty cool.
Can you even say? Can you even say?
Absolutely.
Can you even say you signed up?
I signed up. You can say you signed up because the form is not part of the NDA. But everything else after the fact is part of the NDA. So
so we don't know. So I can't. You're telling me I can't ask you. Did you get accepted?
No.
So that's
NDA.
Okay.
But yes, a team of playtesters has been selected. Congratulations to all those individuals who were selected. A really, really cool opportunity already for
everyone.
The
everyone
involved,
but you,
so.
right?
Under NDA. I'm like slinging that around though. I have to say, there's a weight to that. You know, I feel like a champion of sorts.
Just holding that over all of her.
I'm sorry, right, that's under NDA right now.
Yeah,
and, you know,
that's what my wife. I just say
that
that's every question. My wife's like, "Do you do the dishes?" Under NDA. That's I can't.
That's under NDA right now. We can't talk
right
about
now.
that.
Sorry, I can't say it was NDA.
But it was really cool. So yeah, that's already been done. Just to put that. So future opportunities for playtesting Heroscape will be available further down the line. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and of course, if you are listening to the show, we will definitely bring it up when it happens. And we have a mention. Craig is still involved. I know a lot of people were worried about that. They are consulting with them. The Avalon Hill team is still involved. There's a cross coordination between two groups right now for the set. So it's not just Renegade's not just taking something over and just stomping all over it. There is a lot of communication between the previous teams and the current team, which I thought was really cool to hear. Historical units, I know that's a topic, a very spicy topic at times, but to kind of just review with regards to historical units, because there were no historical units specifically designed for Age of Annihilation, we will not see any of that till after the Age of Annihilation sets are released. So just look forward to what we were expecting
Bide your
last
time.
year.
Bide your time.
And then when all of those are out, there's a future. So yeah, there was not yes, there was not no, there was no confirm, but it was definitely a not right now because of the AOA units. So I think that's really important to remember. It was never a no or yes, it was a wait. So
it was all a wait. All they said was wait.
It was all a wait.
They could have just like that
compatibility.
Live stream, they could have just posted wait in text that whole time and probably
it just
felt the same.
They want to. They seem to be. Someone was talking about this, and I can't remember who brought it up, but someone was mentioning Renegade's very, very serious about their material, and they don't like presenting things that they don't have solid and done
and that's fair.
prior to presentation.
That's fair.
So people are like, man, they didn't say anything at all. It's like because they don't want to. They have stuff. They're just not going to tell us. And from that point onwards, it's just giving them the space to create, giving them the space to develop, and being there and excited for next Renegade Con when we all have we already got the confirmation. We will be getting more information next Renegade Con, which will include art and
we'll be there.
Media.
We'll be there. We'll be on.
We will be there.
It'll be a better live stream than last. Okay, and Ryan.
Let's see.
Just real quick. Ryan, do you have any thoughts about this Renegade or anything?
I mean, yeah, of course I'm pumped about the new releases. I will say you mentioned their, how seriously they take this stuff. Their professionalism is a nice change of pace, as compared to Avalon Hill devs rolling out of bed in the morning and making up lore to post on Discord that we're supposed to take as canon. It just there was pretty much every facet of the last re-release was handled poorly. So to see them actually taking their time and being like, we're just not doing it until like it's fully ready is so refreshing. Is so refreshing. And I didn't watch the live stream. I don't care who is like on some board of whatever, doing whatever thing. I get that Heroscapers are 10 years starved for, any sort of news from a developer, but I feel like we've gotten so much community stuff that I'm pretty satisfied. Like I'm very content to wait another year or 2 years until we get new Heroscape, especially because just like 8 months ago, I had thought it would never. It was never coming back. It was never go back. So it seems pretty soon to me, and I'm really excited, and I think the news will feel timely when it happens, and the wait really won't feel like as long as it seems. It's already November, almost November.
Right.
So
practically.
Yeah.
Cool. And I do want to add on a little bit. I will acknowledge, and it's just this is just kind of me thing, I guess, but. And Carmine did say he was going to find any way possible to bring Heroscape back, and he did keep his word. So good, shout out to Chris Nadeau from Avalon Hill Games. We do appreciate it. The effort you did, it was a very complicated time, very complicated maneuver that you managed, and somehow we're still getting Heroscape. So thank you for leading that charge. However you did it, we don't know those things. It's the big brain stuff,
NDA.
But
NDA.
Yeah, it's under NDA. Exactly.
This whole episode is brought to you by NDA.
That's good. NDA. Sorry, we can't talk about.
We can't talk about that.
There's an episode.
I was gonna say he completed the Ninja Warrior course, but okay, sure, NDA is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's let's see, quick review of everything else. Backwards compatibility, that's already been confirmed. Painted or unpainted, they're not talking about that yet. They're looking for solutions. That's all we have. I mean, it's the big deal. Obviously, it's not 2004 anymore, so prices are higher, especially for this kind of stuff. But they did say they're looking for a solution, so that's kind of cool. Because I mean, it's like it's not a no, we can't. It's a give us a second. Once again, wait. But they're going to look into solutions. So that hey, let's see what happens in the end for that. They're going to launch on day one with organized play in stores. That was pretty crazy. I'm already kind of just off a tangent. I'm working with my local game store right now to promote Heroscape. So hearing that they plan on launching organized play day one is going to be really interesting to see. And I probably will be able to report on that, whatever comes down that pipeline, because I will be getting involved with it with the game store owner that I'm working with. And me and him will probably be digging into that and seeing what it is required to set up an organized play for Heroscape on day one launch, and then kind of just tell you all how that works. And if there's cool stuff that comes with it, by all means, I'll tell you what it is. But that's all up in the air too. We don't. I mean, I don't think we've ever really had an organized play prior, like during the original launch of Heroscape. I don't think that was something that Hasbro had. So it's like this is all new territory. We understand the concept of it from other games, but we can't really use that experience with what Renegade's going to be doing. So it's just really, then the word has been thrown out there,
Jeremy,
and to prepare for that. Yeah.
We have to wait.
We have to wait. Yes,
we have to wait, and it's all under NDA.
It's all under NDA.
Jason, what are your thoughts? Because I know you weren't around for this, so what are your thoughts on like the con or anything?
Well, just kind of reading through a lot of the quotes, I found the thread I think you're talking about. It's basically summarized as it's going to be Age of Annihilation, but in smaller pieces, which I mean, I think is a good thing, considering that, $250 for a giant box is a lot of money. But I think at the end of the day, my original video when I talked about the whole Kickstarter is probably, Hasbro's going to eventually release all that stuff in smaller pieces anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised if Renegade is just kind of following the game plan that Avalon Hill came up with that never got released because of Kickstarter or the crowdfunding, whatever they called it, didn't get fully funded.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's
it's
a pain that it's
solution.
actually less and less though now. I think I think we're like, we don't forget, but I think we're kind of in a more forgiveness mode, about it, even though we still just like, oh, that still hurts slightly, but maybe it's becoming a scar.
We're veterans of pain. We're veterans of pain. We've survived the war.
Yeah, but no, it's
tabletop game communities don't always have the most long-term forgiveness mentality. They often tend to still hold a bit of a grudge for quite a while after something goes terribly wrong, and they love to talk about it. I don't know why.
We
but
probably will for still a long time.
No.
But no, it's and I just do want to extend to all those who are on that panel for the Heroscape Renegade Con. All you are welcome. Come on podcast anytime. I'm sure they've heard it before, and they're going to keep on hearing it. Anytime. Y'all be welcome.
Oh, yes. Speaking of something really important. This comes from Lee herself. She mentioned this directly. She wants to hear your feedback. So if you have any suggestions whatsoever, just yours as a Heroscape player.
Specifically you, Ryan.
That's why I'm
specifically you, Ryan. No, but that. So she's actually going around, and she told me that she is watching people's content on YouTube. She's catching people's stuff, and so if you have anything you want to say at all, please feel free to go live and do. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a full thing. You can do a short. You can do something small on TikTok, but like start making your voice heard. You say the things you want about this game. She is listening. Well, she's looking for that information.
Lee, if you're listening, which Jeremy just said you are, we invite you. Come on board. because then the questions will be
You can
asked.
get live opinions
and,
right here.
and then you'll still be under NDA, and then we'll just have a fun time, Instead of getting the information, we'll still have a fun time.
You can come on our meme
just get to know you
review
as a person. Yeah, really, meme review come January 31st. That will be fun too.
You'll really understand the community. You really can understand the community through their memes. I think.
Always. The memes is a cultural staple at this point.
Absolutely.
Like that's how you observe society. So 10,000 years from now, whatever, when they're digging up our fossils, they're gonna find memes and like try to interpret it, and it's just gonna be a really good time for them because they're like, wait,
sure.
this
But
is
they
how
won't
this is
understand
how civilization
the reference.
communicate.
That's
Yeah,
the problem.
no, they're going to make terrible in conclusions. They're gonna get the completely wrong information.
They're gonna think it's
funny thing is them
classical.
Trying. Yeah.
Let's shout out to Ryan.
That's classical art, y'all. Are you ready?
That's
You ready for that?
classical.
Your meme to be a classical piece of painting or something.
By the way, Ryan,
This
I
is a
love
logo
that. I love that joke. I love that joke, Ryan. Okay, so
That's funny.
if anybody got anything else to say,
I just have
There's a
one
little bit
more-
left.
go ahead, Josiah.
but yeah,
Go ahead,
One
Josiah.
more thought.
Yeah.
The main thing they said is 2024 is going to be the year of Heroscape. So just
Yes.
I think we're on the precipice of just a deluge of things coming out. So wait.
Especially next Renegade. So
And
Wait.
and then I was really interested in what they said. They said they had some plans for Raylan, which means it seems like I don't know what the plans are, but it seems kind of like bigger than here's evil Raylan. So either some storytelling or multimedia interaction. So I'm really looking forward to that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
No, that was the next thing. Definitely after organized play, they mentioned that. So whatever Rowan is working on with Raylan's got Craig excited, it's got marketing excited, and then it's supposed to be like outside of Heroscape content. So that's a really interesting phrasing. I'm like, are they going to do like YouTube shorts or like some sort of content format to introduce Raylan's backstory and then explain why she went bad? So that would be really cool. I would enjoy seeing that, like especially as like a marketing experience. Yeah, you tell the story of the game that no one has had a chance to hear about the past 13 years. That would be perfect, So, let's see. They said Heroscape in France. that was a big thing. A lot that we did have some people ask about Europe's representation, and Renegade will be providing access. Which here's the thing: I got into Heroscape in Belgium. I understand, right? Literally, all we had was Rise of the Valkyrie for years. I didn't know there was expansions for Heroscape. I didn't know they actually had like future content planned for this game until I returned back to the United States, and then all of a sudden I got Orm's Return, Roads of the Forgotten Forest. I'm just like, whoa, where did all this come from? It was all new to me. So yeah, they're saying that that's going to be different. It's going to be that's kind of really hopeful for the European Heroscapers. They are not going to be able to print old figures. That's cut off, unfortunately, and we already kind of understood that was a thing because the original molds are gone. So I would just rely on 3D printing right now. STLs, hit some friends if you know people that know what they're doing with that kind of stuff. Probably will be your best way to get access to classic Heroscape, unless you're willing to put the money down on eBay. Which, by all means, if that is your financial opportunity, good luck. It's a rough
auction
ride.
sites, or win them on a channel like this, because
or win them on a channel
opportunities available like that, So
yep. And then
Absolutely.
we have everything on HasLab's going to be used. That includes exclusives. That includes the stretch goals. So we will be seeing Sonlin on a dragon. We will be seeing Q11, things like that, which is super exciting because I was very worried about the state of those characters since they were meant to be stretch goals and we didn't get those stretch goals. So it's like, ooh, please don't get rid of those characters. They were really cool redesigns. And then, of course, Scavarith, Lord of Ruin, and the Thyraxis Dragoon will also be included. And what else? Will there be efforts to make sure people who can't access old figures can stay competitive? Yeah, they're talking about tournament rulings and legals and stuff. I don't think they're going to try. Yes, they can't run some events that also allow. Yeah, they're going to try to take care of everybody. So they're going to make sure it'll be easy to play the game, especially play the game in their tournaments. But remember, we also have other tournament formats available. ScapeCon, Hexacon, all those groups, all those individuals are running third party. And I don't mean this in a negative way, but like they're operating their own tournament arcs, right? It's not the word.
Yeah,
but,
nothing.
And yeah, you don't have to be afraid of not being able to use Classic Heroscape in the tournament. It's just that Renegade's going to be working for the new players, whereas we have the EscapeCon for Classic playing and things like that, I think. And that's going to... I'm cool with that. I totally understand that they can't really expect you to get the Roman Legion if you can't get the Roman Legion. You know what I mean? So it's like, I see the idea of working for the future of Heroscape. I mean, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
And then, that was... Let's see...
Yeah, and Arable,
3 months.
I'm sorry, just one second. Arable
No, you're good.
says in the chat there. I know he's from Germany. So this is important for people from Renegade watching.
Yep.
We do have a viewer from Germany, and he's saying the EU struggle is real. I was able to get some stuff by importing Scape for loads of money. So trying to find a cost-effective way.
Yeah, Renegade's going to fix that. Which is nice.
So hopefully, Renegade, you're listening to that, and do your best for the community out there in Europe for sure, and the rest of the world.
Yep. And then they're working really hard, launching Heroscape next year, and sometime in the first quarter. So that for business talk, right? First quarter is January to March, the first 3 months of the year. They're going to be they're just going to reveal everything coming in Wave 1 around that Renegade Con, around that time frame. So that's in the first 3 months of the year. We got multiple waves planned. They're going to show off a lot of stuff, trickle stuff, spill the beans. And then they said just join the Discord if you want the information. If you don't want to join the Discord, we'll probably talk about it here too. So, but yeah, Discord's going to have probably the OG information will be dropping there. And for March, Wave 1 of 2024 releases will be in Q1, not released till later in the year. And then we are told we can expect 2 waves in 2024 total, which is a lot more Heroscape than 0. But we got 2 waves already planned, and that's really exciting for me. And that's
shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my money.
We have cored for you the Meet the Team. So if you have not had the chance to catch up on that show, we just told you the most important bits of that. And just honestly, Heroscape 2024. That's really, really exciting. So, I'm stoked with their plans for it.
Start selling your kidneys now.
A lot of fun.
Start selling your kidneys now. Start saving that. Selling all those bonds.
I don't recommend selling anything that's very, very important or connected to you. Do anything.
Ryan, what are you willing to sacrifice for Heroscape?
I have a spare.
I've sacrificed 10 years. How about you, Jeremy?
That's fair. Time is a great sacrifice.
Yeah, but no, it's great to see and look forward to what they have planned. I can't wait to see these waves and these terrain packs for sure. So next Renegade Con is going to be fun. Okay, so now let us move on to the next recap that I want to talk about. And this has to do with Adventure Together Games, Source, and TimeStrike. We interviewed the team a few weeks back on a ToV podcast, and you'll find it on the live section. I've already have videos on the Tales of How YouTube channel as well, short segments, because it was a near 3 hour stream that we did, and I already knew a bit about this game and this system and these people already, but I think that was one of the best podcasts we've done this year. They had so much energy.
Yeah, it was a good one.
They had just the way that they're doing things, and some people say, "Is this Heroscape 2.0? Is this Heroscape?" No, it's something different, but it's something unique. But it's something so unique that it's exciting in its own right. And I encourage anybody who hasn't, please listen to that podcast or listen to the video segments that I've edited out and watch and just see, especially when it comes to like Source Golf, to the edges that can really, it might not match specifically, but it can be compatible with like any miniature war game that you're doing. Just fantastic. And their Kickstarter starts this Tuesday. I think it's October 24th, I believe. So I believe that's Tuesday. And their tier, and they announced most of their tier lists for the Kickstarter campaign, and last week. And here I got some photos here. Hold on a second. And basically on the low end, $70 for. Yeah, let me just get this photo up here. Let me see if I can expand this here. So let me turn this one off. Let me make this one bigger. And this is Himaro. This is one of the people who started this. Let me try and zoom this in. And I have a bigger picture as well. So just hold on a minute. But this is your basic source box. Now this doesn't have TimeStrike with it. This is just your source box if you're into other miniature wargaming and don't want TimeStrike in particular, but still want this. I think at this range, and correct me if I'm wrong. Again, link in the description below. Go to Adventure Together Games website, and then you'll find all the links that you need to get the information you need about this system. But this basically right here is, I think, $70 for Kickstarter, which is just absolutely insane. And then for they didn't have last Tuesday what would be the price for the TimeStrike, but here, let me get here is the source system terrain with the TimeStrike minis. And
it looks so cool.
And even my guess, it's probably going to be somewhere around 100, 150, which is way worth it. It's just the bang for your buck. And for like the source terrains, they have certain tiers, and they have tiers going all the way up to like $800. But you can get different biomes. So for each like source terrain box, you can have like a forest biome. You can have like I think like a desert. Different type of biomes. So you can get up to like 8 different biomes. So 800, like 8 packs, $800. And for like each hex of terrain, it gets less the cost for each hex of terrain. So bang for your buck, and like just the system in itself, it's very exciting. And they'll have different, like they'll have the source golf, like playing golf on that just blows my mind in itself.
Golf, the board game.
Yeah,
they apparently figured it out.
And
I don't know how.
They have a source golf pack that they'll have like edges packs if you want extra like edges. And here, let me just I want to show these edges real quick. Let's see here. So
honestly, the edges are a highlight for me.
They're okay. They're not. And actually, wait. I'll show them. Let me bring up the website real quick. Hold on. Again, anybody who does not know about Adventure Together Games, I encourage you, check them out, and check out their Kickstarter and see. Here are the edges right here. And
yeah, I mean, for anyone
you can shape them. Into like put them together. You can shape them into like basically any form on the field to go with any field. That just blows my mind. And there's room for dice. There's room for 20-sided die here on these joints. And they'll also even have in the future like ways to put like cup holders and such inside these like little insider joint things as well. I called that revolutionary, and I still think it is.
Yeah. It's I've
cool.
talked to them. I've actually talked to Shaper a little bit after the stream and stuff like that, and they're just the most friendly, most adventurous and innovative people I've ever talked to, and the tiles are really strong. They posted a picture of like 135 persons standing on top of like a little tower they built, and it wasn't bending or cracking. So it's definitely something to be excited about if you want some different terrain options besides Scape, something a little bit more flexible and adaptable. Definitely check them out.
Absolutely.
They posted like a battle report of the game, so you know what the basic idea of the rules are and how it plays.
There is a YouTube short. I believe it's a YouTube short that shows off like a little bit of gameplay, but not entirely.
We don't know much about it.
It was just pretty much like what we kind of would have expected from Movement. Movement's very still similar to Heroscape in a way.
They explained it a little bit during the stream. During the interview, but not into too much detail. I think we'll get we'll get into detail later, I think.
Yeah.
I think the short is playing right now on their Facebook page. It looks like it's a short 1-minute video and kind of doing them very basic.
Yeah.
Like the gameplay.
Let's just say, I mean, they and I think it was Himaro that said during the interview that the similarities between TimeStrike and Heroscape is I think he said the combat roles. I think they said that's the same, and then everything else is different. So there that is. And I think your usual play time playing through TimeStrike is like 45 minutes per player. So it is relatively short, and they have a lot of things jam-packed into the gameplay as well. Like you can stop and go fishing for things. You can mine terrain. All within 45 minutes. So some people might think, oh, this is D&D, because someone did comment like, oh, this is like D&D. It's like, if it is, it's pretty short for D&D. Because
D&D lasts a long.
Yeah, it can go for a long time. So no, it's different. It's even different than that.
No, it's almost, imagine like you pick a character, or like imagine if you were playing Heroscape in that manner, and Sergeant Drake Alexander can get new weapons and abilities and equipment and health. And like his health, like instead of having 5 lives, he has 7 lives at a game. Like these characters can evolve through your match.
Right.
So in that's kind of like the RPG element that they've been kind of implementing. So like when you fish, you mine the playing field, like you're getting stuff that you need to craft better shit so you can play. So, and beat the boss. Or when you die, then you can play as the boss. So, there you go.
Yeah. No, and I would say another thing too, the miniatures they have, if you're ordering them, they'll end up being pre-printed, colorized, like in the print miniatures. And I forget the exact details of that, but let's just say that they're going to look fantastic out of the box. And you can see that.
So
yeah, go ahead, Jason.
They're not pre-painted then. They're
not
actually
pre-painted.
Like using some sort of 3D printed coloring
it's
technology.
A printing technology. Yep. That they're basically taking advantage of from a company. And I forget the details. Like I said, just go to their site. Check out their, because they have information on that.
Join their Discord. Their Discord is very lively.
Yes.
Yeah, you can talk to them directly. They are. Yes. Feel free to message them if you have any questions.
And they're going to be open source too, which is a great thing. Like I said, I think. I mean, like I said, Heroscape is my favorite game, but this game just might possibly come to a close second, because there's just a lot of things that are going on for them, and I just have a feeling. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge for them. So, but we'll see. Like I said, Kickstarter starts for them this coming Tuesday, and they'll do a live stream when they're kicking it off. So join them and ask as many questions as you like. And if you feel inspired or feel like, hey, this might be worth giving a try, give them some support. So if anybody has anything else to say on that subject? We're good for that?
I'm just excited for the future of this game.
Yep.
I wish the team the best of luck. They seem very, very motivated, very, very front foot forward right now. I mean, they got so much progress already done from what I've seen, and really excited to see the development of this product. I hope when the Kickstarter hits off, we do that thing, when you get it all funded in one day. That would be an awesome thing to see. So if you do have the opportunity to help support, so here's the thing about Kickstarter. I will say this, really important thing is that unlike another crowdfund that we had a couple of months back, this one allows you to select dollar amounts, and if you aren't able to contribute the full amount for a game, even the dollar helps.
Right.
Like if that's all you're able to give, you're still contributing to the development of this game.
Right.
And all of those dollars will eventually add up to them getting their goals. So please consider donating $1, donating $5, the small little pocket changes you might have to be able to give. That will help support and eventually add up to bringing this game into life. And don't feel bad if you can only donate $1. Really, like that's super helpful too. So you everything should count here, and moving forward when it hits on Tuesday.
And I will say this too, no one can discredit that I love Heroscape a lot. I don't think you can discredit that.
I never would have
Who
figured
would
that
think
out,
that?
Ryan.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Okay,
I
and I do. I am a very, very enthusiastic about Adventure Together games, Source
That's awesome.
and TimeStrike. I'm just gonna say it like that. So, if that convinces you, and I know, like, say, like G Busy there in the chat, I know Cody like saw the information, is excited about it too. Just check it out. Do your due diligence, and you're probably going to be excited too. So yeah, good luck to those guys, and I'm sure we're probably going to have them on near the end of the Kickstarter campaign. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have them back on the podcast for that. So absolutely. All right, so let us move on to the next segment. Let's do some Thormun's Journal. Okay, we haven't done this in a little while, and we got
about Nora.
Oh yeah. Nora. Okay, yeah. Actually, let's not hop in that. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay, actually, okay. Before Thormun's Journal. Yes, we're gonna do this.
It was National Heroscape Day this week.
Yeah, it was. Yes. And Joe, how about you read through this? Okay, give my voice a little bit of a break, and I have it up here on the screen. So go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, so right on the front page of Heroscapers.com is a brand new C3V unit named Agent Nora. Vidar turns yet again to Earth, circa 2210 AD, for a tricky agent to bolster his forces. This one wears her feisty heart on her hair and her clothing, and is ready to unleash a fury of bullets in acrobatic fashion if enemies get too close. Not many can weather the storm that Agent Nora brings. So this unit was teased to me early. I had went to the Mars event in Salisbury, and we were able to actually get Agent Nora, and I played with her last night.
Nice.
So I'll read through her card. She is a 4-life unique hero, 6 move, 6 range, attack 3, defense 3, 75 whopping points. And she's got Bulletstorm special attack, which essentially she's a single base character, and we all know that on the 7 hex terrain there are 6 straight lines sparring out from there, and she can attack 6 times in all different directions, and has to be different directions. So last night when Jill was playing with her, she was able to attack 2 of my units. Did not wound. May have wounded. I'm not sure. I don't know if they were wounded or not. But anyway, she was able to attack multiple units in a straight line. And I think this unit is going to be pretty awesome against all the different squads. All the squads. Range of 6 is really, really awesome. And of course, she's got Phantom Walk, so she can go wherever she wants. Nothing stops her. So, Agent Nora, definitely go pick her up. Obviously, we all can see that's the same model as the other agents. But you can find a 3D printed version of her, paint her up, and she's ready to go. Super simple, easy unit, and an awesome gift for our Heroscapers for National Heroscape Day.
Yeah, thank you, Valhalla Customs, for this. Yeah, absolutely. And any thoughts? Because I know there was some arguments with Bulletstorm special attack, especially on Facebook. Some people, I think, were kind of confused on that ability.
I think my favorite comment I saw. Well, yeah, there were some reading comprehension issues for sure. I think people were under the impression that it was like Mimring's Fireline, where you hit every figure in those 6 spaces, which would be incredibly powerful. Obviously, you can only hit 1 figure, but you get to choose any figure on that space, which is also pretty nice. My favorite comment was someone arguing how powerful this is for a 75-point figure that you could make 6 attacks of 3, and the response was, if you let your opponent attack you 6 times, you deserve to lose. I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, yeah, you know, if you're and you'd be surprised, like 6 straight lines, you can still have figures all around her and be off of those lines, right? Because the hexes are, you know, they've got 6 directions as well. So it's actually, I think it would be pretty easy to avoid getting hit with that special. It being a special is really nice. Yeah, I mean, from a competitive standpoint, I've been keeping an eye on her. Obviously, I want to be up to date with the meta, and I think she's a solid, fun filler unit. I don't think you want to build an army around her necessarily. There are definitely certain shenanigans you would be able to pull with like Brunek or Theracus that could be interesting. And I also think there was some discussion about her being really good in a heated battle format, which I definitely agree. And then I also think, I haven't seen this brought up, but in my own opinion, there are some shenanigans you could pull in those rare situations where you maybe want to wound your own figures. If you want to hit Krug, or possibly you want to like finish off a wounded Thorgrim to be able to put him on a hero more quickly, you'll be able to shoot behind you at your own figures and also shoot forward for potentially multiple attacks per turn. So I think she has some very interesting potential competitively, and she's also fun. It's a really cool theme, and I think they did a good job with the figure.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try Nora with Warforged. I think that movement displacement could lead to some fun synergies there. And I'm always a fan of painting your extra figures. So I'm a fan of that front.
Absolutely. Any other thoughts on this?
Just wanted to make the announcement, if anyone hasn't had the chance to swing by the Aces thread in a little bit, we have unanimously decided that Agent Nora does work with the AOA characters as well. So, yeah.
All right.
You know, I was going to mention, like, should I look at the Aces post if there was anything that you guys posted?
Yeah, no, we like, Dadscaper's on it. He was like, he DM'd all of us. He's like, all right, let's look this over. We got a new character. I was like, done. And we all looked it over that day and approved it that day. So that was really cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, you can use this character with AOA, and there will be no issues.
Great. Well, everybody, get more storage space for this tiny little agent. Actually, what you need to do is dig in your storage space and just find the miniature on your Krav Maga agent squad and take her. And because I'm sure you got duplicates, and there you go. Print out a card, you're good to go. There's your proxy.
I am really happy they decided to use, because Rise of the Valkyries, in terms of like acquisition and price arrangement and things like that, a little bit easier to get. And if for those like us who have been playing Heroscape for a while, you probably have a couple Age of Annihilation, or not. Look at me jumping ahead. I'm looking in the future. No, the Rise of the Valkyries sets, you probably have a couple of those. I would dug through my collection. So when I was actually I went to the game store to host a game for National Heroscape Day. Got some people interested, which was really fun. And while I was doing that, I went through my miniatures, and I have like 6 Krav Maga agents that I can paint red. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I might actually be giving some away if I have the chance to arrange that. So, you know, if you're not able to really get your hands on an Agent Nora, in the spirit of celebration, the return of Heroscape, and of course National Heroscape Day, I will be passing some of those out. So look forward to those announcements in the future. Yeah, I got to paint them first, so give me a second. But
possibility some of us will probably be doing the same thing.
Right, yeah. So yeah, just look around. You might see some Agent Noras being passed around, which, you know, it'll be like Christmas, but Heroscape edition. You know?
Absolutely. I think next year is going to be around Christmas.
Annihilation sets has Renegade sent you then? That's the real question at the moment.
That's under NDA.
There we go.
This episode is brought to you by NDA. If you haven't figured that out already, that's how it goes. And my sore throat. Okay. All right. So no, all good, and it's awesome. So all right. So that is Agent Nora, and I'm sure like when we start covering C3V squads and heroes, we'll revisit her. I'm sure. All right. Now, how about we get into Thormun's journal. And I think since Jeremy, you weren't here last time for 21, we'll probably go back to that. Just mention it. But how about we start reading journal entry 22? Who wants to start with that first paragraph?
I can do it. All right. Journal entry number 22, inscribed by Thormun of Tealaron on this, the 8th day of Ronveg. Our company rode away from the hospitality and cozy dwellings of Lord Ular 3 sunrises ago. We travel along the coast of the Bitter Sea, whose sunrises are particularly spectacular. The sky is painted with shades of amber and pink as if by the great brush strokes of a mighty hand. However, for all the beauty of the sea, she is poor company to keep this time of year. Winds blow in from across her surface, and they dig their way through layers of fabric, bite down with bitter teeth. Along with me ride Kelda, Konkan, Tyrion, 6 of Ular's protectors, Pyri warriors who bear pistol-like crossbows, and the noble Belden, Ular's right hand. Belden carries himself proudly, but greets all that I've seen him encounter with great respect and a bright, infectious grin.
Okay, next paragraph.
Yep. And it says, pulling on the reins of his...
Oh,
okay, go
who's
ahead.
that?
I got you.
Carry on. If we keep going, go for it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Pass the things around.
Yeah. I'll give you the next one. Pulling on the reins of his horse, Belden turns to face the rest of the party. There, he points down the coastline. There's the newly built stronghold on the horizon. The young warriors that surround me are a constant reminder of my age. Try as I might, I can't make out the sight that the rest of them gaze upon. If I were still drinking of the well springs, I would have been the first to spot the stronghold. From this distance, I would be able to count the number of stone blocks used in its construction.
We approach the site of the stronghold, which is bustling with noise. Workers shout out orders as large stone bricks are hoisted into place. Sword, shield, and other such devices of war clank and clatter, while soldiers of varying worlds and times scurry about in preparation for battle. A young-looking, raven-haired elf greets us with a slight bow of his head. Adlaga is eager to speak with you, the elf states soberly. We are ushered into a stone-walled room lit by streams of light pouring through several arrow-slit windows in the eastern wall. The space is empty but for a large wooden table in the center of the room, on which various pieces of parchment and scrolls are strewn. Several advisors are gathered around a tall Ularian captain at the end of the table. They are pointing at a map and are engaged in a fervent debate. The Kyrie captain emanates an air of confidence. Emanates an air of confidence. He is war-torn and wears a breastplate bearing the symbol of Ular. At his side hangs a pistol-like crossbow, not unlike those carried by Ular's protectors. The captain looks up as we enter. Ah, you've made it. I hope your trip was a safe one.
With a smile and a bow, Beldum responds, "Our trip was entirely uneventful. At Laga, it is good to see your face again, old friend. I'm glad to see you unharmed as well, Beldum," says Atlaga. As he clasps a hand onto Beldum's shoulder, "I'll keep this short, so you can spend the evening resting and replenishing yourselves for your ride to Vidar's castle. As you know, swarm of Ukar's ghastly Morrow creatures are pouring into Eskrim from right here at the southernmost end of our borders. We had assumed that the Morrow were coming in from Anund, which could only mean it had been utterly overrun. However, we have come to find this is not true, which is both sweet and bitter news. While Vidar may still hold out against Ukar and in Anund, the spot from which the Morrow are really coming from is worse yet. We have discovered that a chain of underwater volcanoes north of the Volcarian wastelands have erupted. The erupting volcanoes have formed a land bridge all the way down to the once inaccessible jungles below the wastelands. That is where the Morrow are coming from. it seems that Ukkar found this bridge into the jungle before we did, or has found another way into the jungle as is growing a force there. Now, with the news reaching us of Jandar's vision of wellsprings in the jungle, we fear the worst.
All right, and so we get a little bit of introduction of Atlaga here. Also, just what's going on in the world of Valhalla when it comes to the changing of terrain. And one thing I like about this story, because I know me and Jeremy discussed this when it came to Tales of Valhalla, because there's a certain part in Season 2 and Season 3 where the main characters in Tales of Valhalla are looking out at this land bridge, and are trying to figure out a way to cross it. And so I physically put it in there from this story. Now, when it comes to this main canon, there's a lot of things going on. So, someone else talk, please, before my throat goes.
I got
Yeah, no, this is really neat because I didn't realize. I could have assumed that because of water clone that they were essentially coming from the water. Some kind of, I guess maybe there was it. Jeremy clean up for me, but like, is there a portal down there? Is that where the hive was? Is there something else down there?
Yeah, so we're looking at this is in the past sense, but when they launched this journal entry, this was technically our first preview of the Swarm of the Morrow Master set. Because they were leading into that storyline with this entry. The Morrow were already in the jungle, and they were approaching the parts of the continent that Ular is in charge of via underwater volcanoes. Like they basically, like, if you've ever done like a brief thing of geology, when a volcano explodes and then keeps going and going and going, that's where islands are formed. And so at some point, a bunch of them are forming a land bridge between the north and the south. And this now, oh my gosh! See, I wish I had one of the older editions of the map, right? Because I want to say the north and the south was not combined. Like there was no access to that point. And then when they introduced this portion, they show how the Volcanic Wasteland like combined the two.
And you can.
And
see
I don't know if there's that
here.
Yeah, like
so that wasn't.
Yeah,
there.
now I think the older edition, the current edition, the Volcarian was added later on, but I can't confirm an older edition of the map if it's out there. If someone remembers, I just remember Volcarian showing up much later, and it was part of that story where they're like, so volcanoes, and you're like, what? It made lava a lot cooler in the sense of like, it's such a dynamic part of the environment itself is basically not really helping them at this moment because it's allowing Morrow to cross into the north from the jungles. And since they like the jungle, there's a lot more Morrow now. So, yeah, it was a really interesting. What do you call these moments? State of the realm moment kind of thing, where it's like you get a brief overview of the current campaign setting. This is what's going on in the war right now. We have an issue. There's a lot of Morrow. So, and it was a really, really cool concept.
Right.
I do have to say, I like how they described Atlaga as confident in the journal entry years before they launch him with personality confident. I was like, that's a very tiny little detail, but I think it's really cool that they either remembered that when they finally launched Atlaga as a character, that they decided to give him that personality trait in reference to when he was first introduced in the journal. Because we met Atlaga in the journal first, and then he became a character later on. And that also includes the first reference to the Ular protectors, right? We didn't have any visuals of that except from the art until they launched them as the Wave 9 characters. And unfortunately, one of the remaining characters that I don't have right now, so I'm still looking on the way to get those in a financially healthy way. But yeah, so this was our first preview to those characters, which was really cool. And I guess for me, last point I wanted to bring up is the dynamic where they show how the people have to basically adapt and overcome and change things that are going on now. They built a stronghold out of scratch to address the issue of the oncoming Morrow hordes, and I think that's really wild. I think it's like, imagining what was going on when this war first started and how the world was changing and evolving. And I mean, you're seeing strongholds pop up. You're seeing like combat maneuvers all over the place. I mean, it's like that's probably really terrifying for a lot of people that just start seeing these buildings pop up all of a sudden. And then they explain, oh yeah, that's our. We need to have that because there's a bunch of skinless aliens coming down and attacking us all over the place. And you're like, the what now? And it's like so the current climate of the landscape was really well described in this moment. I think that was really cool for the author to do so.
And
I had some. Oh, what was it?
No, I was just going to ask, referring to when we had the journal entry 21 from last time, this is Thormun journeying to Uller's territory, technically. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're still in Uller's territory because they originally went to Ekstrom to talk to Uller as emissaries. They made the conversation, they explained the dream, and then Uller is like, all right, I'll help you. And then after that, like while they were resting, that's when Thormun has his dream of the wolf, the wolf vision, which very, very intense vision that we still. It's funny they never interpreted it for us, so we're kind of we all got our own interpretations of his vision of what exactly that was referring to. But yeah, he's having that vision after meeting Uller, and then after that recollection of the vision, they're leaving the hall, and 3 days later, that's where they're at meeting at Laga. So it's kind of just a progressive thing where they're still in Ekstrom the whole time, but they're doing their emissary stuff.
Okay, and I'm sorry, was that Josiah? Were you gonna mention something?
Oh yeah, I just found it really interesting that the volcanoes kind of it almost seems like they were somehow caused to erupt. Like it wasn't like just a natural thing.
Yeah,
coincidence.
I mean, because it's like
I coincidence.
Yeah.
Big coincidences.
Right. Yep. I've always had a theory, and I make sure I mark this as a theory. This isn't like lore that was ever presented in the story itself. But I always had a theory that Valhalla itself as a planet could be alive, and this was because this theory comes from the Volcarian Guard, the Multarns and the Elementars and things like that. If you really get into understanding of how those work, when you have the land itself walking, because the land itself is listening, it's responding, and so I always thought this was my theory. That Valhalla itself was alive in some way, and the volcanoes was its way responding to the conflict of everything all at once coming onto this planet. And so, but once again, theory. Please don't take this as any canon of any sort. But
and I think
always wondered if they would get more into it.
For AOA, what's the first image we see of them standing above flowing lava?
Right.
So I think this opens up the door for new territories or new islands or something new to kind of pop up in the existing map. In the future, that kind of opens that door.
Like New Tortuga, I really want to know more about New Tortuga. That entire thing has got me like, ooh, please tell me.
Agreed.
So yeah, really cool stuff.
Any other thoughts on these from anybody else?
That's everything I got. Yeah. I'm good.
Let's just say that it's story progression, and it's basically going through the events of Swarm of the Morrow is where we're at now.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more thing. I just saw it. Thormun describing how when he was drinking from the wellspring water, he would have been able to see the stone used in the construction of the stronghold from where they were standing off the hill. That's a really clear indicator of how powerful the Valkyrie are, because I mean. I'm just like imagination wise trying to think of how that would work, how you could like pinpoint the pieces of a construction from that distance. I mean that's some insane visual ability, and that's powers. Just one of the many things. Yeah, that's one of the many things we knew about the Valkyrie. So it makes you wonder. It's like when they're showing up on these other worlds and they're picking up people from these battles and saving them right before they're about to get hit. A lot of people might be like, how did they know that was going to happen? If Thormun said he was able to see from that distance, I mean, if you're traveling through the dimensions and you're just looking, you're like, oh, shoot, an arrow's about to hit this guy. Poof. You come up, pick him up, and it probably contributes to why they were able to summon so many things and save so many things from death, because it's like they probably just like really knew what was going on every time they entered into a war zone. So Pretty cool Valkyrie lore.
Imagine a Valkyrie trying to summon something from a time or universe that was giving them like legit like head pain. You know, like imagine like the tease of something. It's like, oh, I can't. Uka's having a problem summoning something because it's just too big or too crazy or something. That would be such a cool little tidbit.
Like tried to summon and it didn't work.
What do you mean it didn't work? You know, like all the other Valkyrie are like.
That's all it says, and they're like, wait, there's things we can't summon, and everyone's just worried now. It's like
there's a bigger threat than the Valkyrie, you know, to each other. It's like
this is a galaxy. I mean, you never know.
Unicron, something like Unicron is gonna come eat Valhalla, like
Cthulhu Dali. You know, that's for Vecna, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, that's a really cool idea. That'd be a really cool thing to see.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, good stuff.
The Black Wormling.
All right. All right. Well, then, as long as we got nothing else to comment on, this has been Thormun's journal entry number 22, and yep, definitely be working on these page by page in the future. All right. Now. Moving on to next. Okay, so we're going to be looking at squads or heroes, and let's.
Oh, I didn't do it in the camera.
Oh, you got it. I got it. Okay, it's that one.
it.
I'm gonna bring it up on the screen here.
I got it.
Because Jeremy got one, and this will be
one.
They
don't work with one.
They don't
Just
work.
gonna put that out there.
Okay.
But
they're
I have one.
kind of expensive, yeah. Unless you 3D print them or something, you know. There's ways.
Yeah, you know,
there's
absolutely.
Ways.
Yeah,
So-
I got a bunch of
Definitely-
derpy proxies.
Yeah. So I mean,
definitely encourage everybody to get multiples.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
go get some dollar store D&D minis.
if you would consider, because it's not just this one, there's 4 altogether that you can get, and they can make for a fun game. So we're gonna talk about this.
I lost the game in ScapeCon to Wormlings, so just to put that out there. They are competitive too. I got wiped by a Wormling army, so.
First one we're going to talk about, though, tonight is the Black Wormling, and let me just go through the stats here it's a dragon, common hero, it means you can use a bunch of them, Wormling, wild, small 3. It's got 1 life, 6 spaces move, range 1 space, attack 3, defense 3, 30 points. Let's get into the stats and abilities, which are a bit. Fledgling, acid breath. So it's kind of like a miniature version of Braxis, basically. Instead of instead of attacking with a Black Wormling, you may choose one small or medium figure within 4 clear sight spaces of it. Roll a 20-sided die. If you roll a 1 or 10, nothing happens. If you roll an 11 to 15, the chosen figure receives 1 wound. If you roll a 16 or higher, the chosen figure receives 2 wounds. It's got a thing called Wormling Bonding. After revealing an order marker on a Black Wormling armlet card before taking the Black Wormling's turn, you may take a turn with one other Wormling you control. All right, and so let's discuss this miniature a second. Pros and cons with it when it comes to building an army. Go ahead, team. My throat is just giving away at me, so go ahead.
Okay, yeah, like I said, I lost the game at ScapeCon 2 to a Wormling army. It was because my primary matchup was I was doing Blastatron Gladatron combo, and it was pretty good because, like, I mean, Blast Glads is a nice classic, right? I've always enjoyed playing that army, fielding that combo, and getting those really sweet, you know, homing beacon attacks. But when you have, I think my opponent at the time was using blacks and reds. When you got, you know, mini Zelrigs and mini Braxises versus a Blast Glad army, yeah, they don't last. They don't tend to last very long. And I found that out the hard way. Things were melting to those Wormlings, and before I knew I didn't have any army, and I was like, well, GG, I guess, you know, like. So with my experience, if you know how to use them well, they do a good job. They are basically your version of how can I get dragons in my army without spending a ton of points. You know, because when you field a dragon in your army, chances are, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, chances are that is probably the core component of your army because they are very expensive units. So you tend to build around any dragons that you field. right? Like you get one dragon, and then everything in your army tends to either bonus it or help it or bonds and things like that. You don't want to just field a dragon for the sake of fielding a dragon, because that's a very expensive unit to just put on the field for without that utility. So if you want dragons, but you don't want to spend the points, get you some Whirlings. Since they do operate technically as like a pseudo army on their own,
right?
Like you're going to be running probably the Wormlings on their own. Like when you activate your round or you prep your rounds, you probably do like 1 or 2 turns of Wormlings and then a third turn with whatever else of your army that is working to support them, or if you're using them as support, whatever that you're doing there. But Wormlings tend to operate on their own level. So like it's like you activate a Wormling and then you activate Wormling bonding and then that's your turn. But you're not really like using anything else with that. So it's like they're really good frontline units, especially like I mentioned before with the red Wormlings. Common cleanup, very, very good common cleanup. Much cheaper than Zelric for common cleanup. And the black Wormlings being able to drop, like the luck is a big thing with the black Wormling, as it always is with the acid attacks. But the chance to drop 2 wounds after moving 6 spaces forward is pretty nerve-wracking, and if you do it right, you can put some pretty solid damage pretty early on with these characters. And I know I keep referring to multiples in the terms of the Wormlings, but that's how they work.
Especially if you got multiple versions
a joined
of them.
unit. Yeah, especially multiples. So I'm saying Wormlings plural, but yes, we will probably talk about red, blue, and the white later on.
Yeah, in the future.
But just to point that out, they are good together, and they're kind of their own separate thing. So that's how I view them.
Right, and they're
really good to see.
Basically, with the bonding, you could do 2 per turn. There you go.
2 per turn, yeah. So it gives you a chance for a full round of 6 character movement, or moving 6 characters in a full round, and then just like each of them having a breath attack is pretty. Like if you know what you're using and you use it right, pretty scary stuff. So.
I like them. They're kind of like an a la carte squad. You can kind of build up. If you have a lot of high defense, you bring in the acid breath. If you have a lot of heavy hitters, you bring in the white. So there's just so many different combinations. And they did a really good job of just really kind of capturing the theme of like, this is a little rapscallion of a dragon. Like it's like it's big guy, but they condense the powers to a really fun and usable level.
Yep.
And any other thoughts from anybody else?
I mean, yeah, I quite like the black Wormlings as a unit. I think you gave a great breakdown. They're definitely they have their place in certain like coalition wars, like multi-general format requirements. But generally they're just kind of like deck tech. Like you put like 3 of them as kind of like filler in an army to deal with like crab or PKs. That's basically what the black Wormlings are there for. You're not going to run 10 of them. I mean, you could, but they have a downside. 2 activations is a lot less than other squads get.
Right.
Bonding squads getting 5. Even if you're getting those kills every turn, they're still advancing on you. I think one thing that's really interesting about them, and I think something that people tend to forget, is that if you can engage a 3 defense figure, it's actually more beneficial to do a normal attack than it is to do the dice roll, because the dice roll is an even coin toss, 50%. The 3 attack dice on 3 defense dice is 50.9%. So there's just the slightest little bit of variance there. And maybe you're rolling really well with a D20 and you decide to do that anyways. I've definitely been there where I felt hot with those dice rolls. Like, I'm not touching those things with the skulls on them. But yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit about them. Their acid is really useful from range, but in general against squads, actually more helpful just to like run in for the bite.
That's really
so yeah, they have a lot of options. They got a lot of flexibility. Yeah, they're a fun unit.
Yeah, together, okay.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
And let's see here. Let me go down here. Okay, so when it comes to combinations and synergies, link description below. Check out the classic escape units on heroscapers.com. Yeah, and so with the bonding, it's Wormlings. The synergies are the Wormlings, and then 1 C3V, and there you go. The
Oscars.
Yeah. That's basically the synergies there. But I mean, that's really all you need for them to.
Thoughts and prayers to the infamous green wormling that never passed SOV.
Oh, the green wormling.
Yeah.
There was so many
Dear.
iterations too. I remember that.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Can you imagine wormling bonding with Counter-Strike, bro?
I gotta.
Is that what it did?
Yeah.
They were trying to do a mini Kara. Yeah. They were trying to do mini Karas. So.
Oh, C3V.
And,
give us something. Give us something. You know.
That'd be cool. That
but
would be fun.
I mean, and for those.
So what happened to that miniature?
There was
Wormling?
so
Was
much, like, it was. I mean, it's a tough design to pull off to begin with for like a 30 to 40 point figure, and it went through, like you said, like dozens and dozens of iterations.
I remember
over,
a
like,
lot
years,
of discussion about
and there was like a lot of like not like pushback from the community, but there was kind of a lot of like, this design is just not going to work competitively, and then I think eventually the hope for Green Merlin, and it would fit so well, right? It's kind of the last one, like, you know, Charos to have little baby brothers, and
right.
It just never came to fruition, and it's like years out from even being in like discussion of a custom being made, which is really interesting because they made all the other ones work pretty well, and then something about that Counter-Strike ability just was like impossible to nail down for a figure like that. Just really interesting.
Right.
And I mean, I will say too, like, I mean, for the person who's just getting a Heroscape and is thinking, okay, can I use these as my army? I mean, the OG miniatures for these wormlings, I'm sure, aren't cheap. But the great
D&D
news
miniatures
is,
ended. So
but the great news is that, I mean, 3D printed proxies are probably your best bet, and then just print out some cards, and there you go. Like, for especially playing like competitively and such. If you love dragons, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a great way to consider them and not break your bank.
I will say this, that if you go to Hobby Lobby, you don't really care about the model, you just play at your home, you can buy a whole like tube of dragons, roughly, like around the same size
the
for
dragon
$5.
tubes.
All kinds of stuff out there everywhere. You can paint them
Little
to
proxies for that,
as close as possible to them. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
That's what I was talking about. The derpy ones I have. That's what I have.
Now, let's talk just a little bit of lore on this miniature, because it doesn't look like much, but Jeremy might expand on it. It says character bio.
Oh, I got you.
Character bio: the black wormling, like all aptly colored wormlings, is both versatile and exciting. It may be wild, but Braxis and Off-Crick keep it in line. So it sounds like this is like Braxis's baby or something. So Jeremy, go ahead. What do you got for lore for us?
I actually don't know where that's from, so I'm kind of confused. I was like, wait, where did that bio come from? So I was like, wait,
written on Heroscaper, so that's what
no, I know. Now I got a project. I got to do some research. So essentially, this comes from a deep and profound love for the world of Eberron. So because the wormlings came from Eberron.
Right.
And for those that are unfamiliar with that, it was one of the various campaign settings that you could choose when you play Dungeons & Dragons. The OG one, which everyone knows because currently Baldur's Gate 3 and all that stuff, the OG one is called the Forgotten Realms, right? And Eberron was an opportunity to kind of step away from the traditional setting of a high fantasy place. They had magic, they had dragons, they had all that stuff, but magic is a technology on Eberron. And so they have trains, they have, this like really kind of gritty steampunk aesthetic where all these cities they use magic as a technology to fuel, for energy, for electricity, all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really cool world setting. And dragons are a very big part of the Eberron concept, because the world itself was created from a dragon's body. There's a really quick summary of the legend. I pulled it up because it's kind of cool, and I promise it's only a paragraph, but it says according to myth, the dragons Cyberus, Eberron, and Kyber were the progenitors of the world. These three discovered and created they said discovered or created the Draconic prophecy. Kyber then turned on Cybirus, and the two fought over possession of the prophecy, breaking the world. Eberron smashed the prophecy and used the energy released to heal the dying planet and seal Kyber within. The blood of Cybirus rained down to Earth, and Eberron made dragons of all kinds spring from the drops. So that's a very the brief summary of the legend of Eberron. The entire world itself is a body of a dragon that seals another body of a dragon, which is basically the source of all the evil and demon entities and things like that on the planet of Eberron. And then you have it's like a kind of like a Saturn-like ring that surrounds Eberron. That's the body of Cybirus and the progenitor of all dragon kind. And so our wormling friends are basically the youngest versions of the blood of Cybirus that has been brought forth. And that's pretty much, I mean, we don't really have anything specific from that, but the glory aspect, the awesome aspect of Dungeons & Dragons, and especially the collaborative storytelling that comes from it, you can, figure out on your own. where do you want your wormlings to come from, right? They got a whole continent of dragons on Eberron. They also have dragons that serve, spy capacity, like kind of like a Illuminati aesthetic, where they have dragons filling roles in government, but in secret. And they're like, because they live so long, they can move things around in government and move things around in politics. And they like doing that because they know they can live forever, like really, really long lifespans. So, wherever you want your wormlings to come from, Eberron has a ton of options. That's just the thing. They never really solidified an exact space. It's just for you to know, dragons are the oldest creatures on this planet, and they are very, very many places you can get them from. So, pretty cool stuff there. And yes, shout out to Keith Baker once again, because what a really cool world that he designed. And I got to meet him for the first time at Gen Con and got him to sign my Siege card. So I thought that was really cool, because I was like, hey man, did you know there's Warforged and Heroscape? And he didn't know that. So I was the one to tell him there's Warforged and Heroscape 13 years after the fact. But hey, that's we're not worried about time here. We're getting our game back next year, so hey.
Well, we can't know them all, although we were trying to do this for this podcast, and that's why this is the next one in line, the Black Wormling. And so, again, it's like,
there you go.
Consider it for your army. Anybody has anything else to say about this this little poison breath filled dragon here? I think it's kind of cute. Anything else? Okay.
I like the thought of Off-Keurig being its big brother and Braxis being small. I think that's cute.
Yeah, that is.
I think it's
adorable.
I think it's adorable.
Right.
Anyway, all right. So, but consider it for your armies. So those wormlings for your armies, and and this has been taking a look at squads and heroes, or occasionally a tiny little dragon. All right. Now, moving on to finally, you would think we didn't have a main topic tonight, but we do actually. We got two for the price of one. So what we're gonna cover first is Ryguy 266's story that he just wrote out, and the name escapes me. Hold on, let me just bring it up here. Okay, it is Trophy, and here I'm gonna read just the introduction paragraph, and then we will get into the story itself. Ryan, if you want to read it to us, storytelling, by all means,
sure.
the floor is yours. So
I can read the intro, and then I will say there is, I just added this afternoon, I don't know if you've refreshed your page, I added a photo of the mini that the story was based on.
Give me a moment. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, there we are.
It's something.
All right. Well, Ryan, the floor is yours. Inspire us, sir.
Yeah, so in a short break from the typical myth format, this one is not about a real-life Heroscape game. This is a bio I wrote for a unit I submitted to an NGC contest, which is viewers of this podcast would be well familiar with, I'm sure. The unit was spooky. Unfortunately, the bios weren't displayed with the units in their display thread for the contest. And I thought the story was really fun, and I thought it shed some eyes on it, so I decided to upload it as one of my myths. I think it fits well. Put a trigger warning in here. This is the most gruesome one yet. Happy Halloween. And then thanks to from an idea from the average fan, I tossed in photos of the mini and the card, and I can just quickly go through the card here.
There it goes. Yeah.
The mini's name is Vetrascrag. He's got Antler Gore, special attack, which is kind of like Tandros Creel's Cleave, and then his ability Ren Souls, where he has the chance to potentially not be targeted for an attack from the next until the next time you reveal an order marker if he wounds a hero. And then the mini itself is by an artist named MKZ 4360, I think. The miniature's name is Winter Horror, and I think it fits well as a Winter Horror. I first saw it in my friendly local game store, and it caught my eye immediately out of like the display of dozens and dozens of mini. It's such a cool, visually stunning miniature, and that was like a few days after the contest was announced. I knew I wanted to make a card for him and write a little story about him, and that's what I did.
It looks nice. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Get into the story trophy then, and yeah, in the spirit of the month that we're in, the time of the year that we're in, it's perfect. So let's get into it.
Was I reading that too?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a story time, Ryan. You the floor is
okay.
yours. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay. This is not under NDA, so I'm allowed to read this. All right. The hunter pulled the collar of his fur coat closer to his chin. A strong gust, unusual in the dense forest, whipped across his face, stinging any exposed skin it could. "Dad, what are you doing?" another man whined. He scuffed his boot against the corpse at his feet, a beautiful stag with a hole in its neck. "Take the picture already." His friend laughed as the body shook from the impact and swung his own leg into the rear of the creature. "Look, it's trying to get away," his friend mocked, driving his foot into the barrow. The massive carcass jerked, and the hunter's son joined in, tossing his own gun into the snow. The hunter smirked, watching the men kick his future wall mount. He held up a camera, the small device he carried around to document the sport. Every kill needed a frame, and this was the biggest he'd ever bagged. Nothing would match this trophy. He looked through the lens, unfocused through the thin haze in the trees. The man wiped his nose and scrubbed the lens, smearing a few snowflakes across the screen. Screams ripped through the frozen air as his son slammed into a tree. Blood spurted from holes in his chest and neck. He scraped up along the trunk, the bark shredding the skin off his back. His friend whipped the gun around, yelling at the hunter's son, but unsure of what to shoot. Chunks of flesh tore away from the son's face, pulling off his cheeks and eyes. The friend fired, putting a bullet into the son's skull and silencing the piercing shrieks. The friend felt a sharp tug. His head was wet and so hot. Something else drove deep into his ribs. He tried to look down, but he couldn't move his head. Hands reached up to feel the blood-stained antler rammed through his throat. His chest cavity split open, torn apart by the same unseen force. The halves of his body flung into the trees, spraying red onto the pristine ice crystals on the pine needles. The hunter dropped the camera, pinned to his spot in the snow. The camera landed at an angle, pointing up above the stag, and through the lens, a hulking creature turned away from the carcass and toward the hunter. A long maw with sharp fangs snarled, and the creature stood, towering over the man. Its powerful hind legs stalked toward him, making no imprint on the snow. Lengthy claws reached through the man's chest, inflicting no wounds but taking something far, far more valuable. Its head snapped open, devouring the intangible. When its feast was over, it discarded the body. The hunter thudded against a tree and tumbled to the ground. His intact form would be a clue to the other invaders. No human would ever take life in this forest again. And if they did, well, Vetrascrack was waiting.
Nice. Yeah, that was.
Well, I'll say that yes, kids get out of the room. I should.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is with these things, I don't pre-read Ryan's stories just so I can get the full element of the story. But yeah. How I say, age warning. Mature.
We gave the warning.
Yeah.
We gave the warning beforehand.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's I like the horror vibe appeal to that. I mean, it's not based off a Heroscape game, but it's describing like the lore of a potential Heroscape custom miniature, and
Yeah.
It's a horror type creature, but it's got a reason why it's doing what it's doing. So it's almost like if anybody who's read the original story of Frankenstein, and the monster with that, the monster has good reason for doing what it does. And even though I think this creature is a little bit more aggressive, it's still defending it. It's still yeah.
Fun fact: I wrote an essay on Frankenstein, back when we did Victorian era stuff. So yeah,
It's a really
the idea
good
of
read. Really
the vengeance aesthetic of monsters in general. Like, I've always enjoyed the concept that comes with Victorian era enemies or Victorian era monsters, and then of course the legends that we are inspired to create based on those. It's like the humans are the problem, right? Like that's the biggest point, is to who are the true monsters is the question that always gets asked, because then it's like you see this gory claw-ridden thing that's going around tearing things up, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, what an evil thing. But do you ever ask the reason why? And then you find out, well, I guess it's kind of valid why it's doing what it's doing. We kind of made it do what it's doing. And so I've always enjoyed that about monster stories. And Ryguy, you did a good job capturing that aesthetic,
Yes.
the Victorian era aesthetic of the vengeance of a monster. It's very, very, very poignent there.
And
So the moral
like that
of
a
the
lot.
story for any monster story is to become a monster so people can kill. Because obviously humans make you the monster, so then you just become a monster. So everybody becomes monsters, and that's what Monster Inc. is all about. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Wow, that's lots
Whoa.
of
Whoa.
connections there.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean,
I just love your writing style,
Yeah.
Ryan. It's very evocative. It's very you kind of start off very kind of small, and then and you have a
Builds.
wide breadth of I'm getting whiplash from a humorous story we read a couple weeks back
Right.
to this
Oh, yeah.
haunted story. So props to you. We had a lot of discussion about this unit in the NGC. We really liked it. Just the feel and the threat and the story was very prominent in our minds. And so this is the second time reading it. I'm still getting a little chills.
Thank you.
I mean, just
that
looking at
means
the
a lot.
miniature, it's like I wouldn't want to meet that in an alley, in a dark alley, or even in a bright alley. It's just like no,
Yeah, yeah.
no.
In a brightly lit forest. Yeah.
Yeah, no, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Walmart, no.
Yeah, walking on nope,
Right.
nope. My house right now. Nope. If the screen goes black all of a sudden, then you know what just happened.
Nice.
Spraying red onto the pristine ice crystals on the pine needles, I think, is my favorite line.
This is really good.
I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great contest NGC ran. There was a lot of really cool units that came out of it. So I was very happy to have created this. I thought I liked how much irony I was able to interweave in this one. His class is Hunter, which I thought was really funny.
Nice, yeah.
After I had gone back and forth between Predator, Terror, and then I wrote the bio and I thought, okay, Hunter is perfect for him. Yeah, I also think I also went back and forth on his general for a little while.
Right.
Valkyrie is like well
Interesting.
known for just being chaos for the sake of chaos, and I thought I'm not totally sure if this unit really like meshes with his motivations personally, but I kind of thought if the unit is creating chaos and killing everything it can, maybe Valkyrie doesn't necessarily care why it's doing it as long as it is just sowing chaos and destruction. So that was something that took me a while to figure out too, but I was also satisfied with that juxtaposition of sort of this like forest, a forest protector really, which in like just on its base form sounds very like innocent and Disney like almost like
Right.
this forest, this cute little deer forest spirit, and then it's just this horrifying monster that rips people
Yeah,
in
it just
half.
tears everyone up.
Um,
Yeah.
And it's undead.
So
Let
I
it
thought the
bleed.
Valkyrie theme
Let
was
it
appropriate.
bleed.
Oh dear.
Yeah. And then I also wrote the bio after I had made the card, so I did my best to incorporate like what the abilities actually were to show off both the Antler Gore special and the Ren Souls.
Nice.
So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Good
that's
stuff.
nice. Yeah, very
Yeah, I love the card. That's dope. I want to run that.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's fun. He is really fun.
I like me some undead, yeah. In fact, this is undead and Valkyrie.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, very nice. Yeah. Yeah, very what can I say else about the story? It's was another well written I still don't think it's good as the
It fits
last
the
one,
theme.
but
I don't know if I'll ever top that last one. I peaked.
Almost.
I peaked.
almost, but it was very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Perfect for this month. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's Halloween. You can get a little spooky.
For sure. Well, and thanks again so much. Again, I appreciate Ryan you coming on. And I mean, this was a long time coming because we've read a lot of your stories, and so very glad to have you on to read this one for us tonight. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been really nice to like hear your feedback and have you guys discuss the stories. That's like really valuable as a writer. And it surprised me the first time because I put that first story out there and I had thought, well, the people who browse the fan fiction forums might enjoy this, and then you replied posting the clip where you talked about the podcast, and it was really sweet. So I was inspired to write more, and it's a full anthology now. I think this was the fifth one, or maybe the sixth one. The fifth one, yeah.
Yeah, well, we're keeping you busy, and that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, and all of you out there,
We
yes,
want more.
there
we
are
want more.
there
We
are
want
other
more.
lore stories out there, and we will get to them eventually. But yeah, we're transfixed on these myths of Valhalla for sure.
There is, I know, and I feel like I got lucky to have you guys stumble upon my lore out of all of the lore out there. I think it is the right length for a podcast segment.
Right.
There are incredibly expansive
Yes.
lore stories out there, very well done, like
Yes.
truly like impressive work. It would take you like 5 podcast episodes to get through, only focusing on those. But yeah, out of the bulk of fiction on there, I'm glad you guys found my stuff.
For sure. All right. How about we get now into the next piece of fiction that was not written by a human hand. Ooh, spooky. Jason, since this is kind of like your baby, in a sense, why don't you explain for those who don't know what happened like earlier this year while I pull this up?
So somehow we were on the topic of AI early on in the year, and I had access to, I think this was the Microsoft Bing with ChatGPT backend. I think this is where this one came from. And I got on the topic of trying to write a story about Heroscape featuring all of us. And so I punched in her name, said write a story about Heroscape. It clearly doesn't know what Heroscape actually is, but that's all right. But it wrote a story featuring the 4 of us at the time, except Joe Crazy wasn't actually in the story. So I'm like, so I had to rewrite the story, but make sure that Joe Crazy was actually a character. So Joe Crazy does finally actually show up as a character in the story was the last thing I had to do to get what we have in front of us here.
Right, and here it is.
Oh my god.
So yeah, just call it an AI lore story. And I mean, and it says it all right there was a dark and stormy night at the very beginning. But what we're gonna have, since there are lines from us saying it, so like Jason, myself, Jeremy, and Joe will say our lines, and then Josiah will narrate the rest. So Josiah, go ahead, get started.
It was a dark and stormy night. The wind howled outside, and the rain beat against the windows. Inside, Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy were gathered around a table playing Heroscape. Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy were all fans of Joe Crazy 3193, an extremely popular YouTuber who played Heroscape. They had been watching his videos for years, and they were excited to finally be playing the game themselves. Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy had been playing for hours, and they were getting tired. But they were also having a lot of fun. They were laughing and joking, and they were enjoying the challenge of the game. Suddenly, there was a loud crash. Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy jumped up in surprise. They looked around, but they couldn't see anything.
What was that?
Jason asked.
I don't know,
Ryan said.
but it came from upstairs.
Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy looked at each other. They were all a little scared, but they were also curious.
I'm gonna go check it out.
Jeremy said. Jeremy slowly walked up the stairs. Jason and Ryan followed close behind. When they got to the top of the stairs, they saw a figure standing in the hallway. The figure was tall and thin and was wearing a black cloak.
Who are you?
Jason asked. The figure didn't answer. It just stared at Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy with its glowing red eyes.
What do you want?
Ryan asked. The figure still didn't answer. It just kept staring at Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy. Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy were starting to get a little scared. They backed away slowly.
We're not going to hurt you.
Jason said.
Just tell us what you want.
The figure took a step forward. Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy took a step back.
Ryan, go ahead and be the figure, okay?
Are we doing like a... Okay. I want your Heroscape.
The figure said. Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy looked at each other. They couldn't believe what they were hearing.
You can't have our game.
Ryan said.
I can, and I will.
The figure said. The figure raised its hand, and bolts of lightning shot out of its fingertips. The bolt of lightning hit the Heroscape game and exploded. That's expensive loss right there.
So that's a loss.
Yes.
Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy screamed in shock. They couldn't believe what they had just seen. The figure laughed.
Ah, now do you believe me?
Figure said. Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy didn't say anything. He just stared at the figure in shock.
Now leave,
The figure said.
and don't ever come back.
Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy turned and ran down the stairs. They didn't stop running until they were out of the house. They sat down on the front porch and they tried to catch their breath.
What just happened?
I don't know,
Ryan said.
but I'm never playing Heroscape again.
Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy sat on the porch for a long time. They talked about what had happened, and they tried to make sense of it. But they never did figure out who the figure was, why it had wanted their Heroscape game. Suddenly, they heard a car pull up in front of the house. They looked up and saw Joe Crazy 3193 getting out of his car.
Hey guys!
Joe Crazy 3193 said.
What's going on?
Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy told Joe Crazy 3193 what had happened. Joe Crazy listened intently, and when they were finished, he said,
I don't think I know what happened. Oh wait, no, Jason. That's Jason.
Oh, it's you. You say that.
No, you say it.
Wait, I think I know what happened.
You do?
Jason asked.
Yeah,
Joe Crazy 3193 said,
that figure you saw was a Heroscape demon. They're creatures that are drawn to Heroscape games. They fed on the energy of the game, and they become very powerful.
So, what do we do?
Ryan asked.
We need to find the demon's lair and destroy it.
Joe Crazy 3193 said,
Otherwise, it will keep coming back for your Heroscape game.
But how are we going to find its lair?
Chubby asked.
I have an idea.
Joe Crazy 3193 said,
But it's going to be dangerous.
Nice.
That's it? I want to know what's the sequel.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the end.
That's what,
Oh no.
that's what I
How
was
are we going to get
about
rid of the Heroscape demon? Don't leave me on this cliffhanger.
Right.
Ryguy, finish it
No,
up.
but hey, we just have on footage. I just want to say we have on footage on the broadcast Ryan saying he'll never play Heroscape again.
Yeah.
Oh,
If anyone wants to clip that,
Someone clip that. Yeah.
clip that and use that as evidence.
Oh dear.
It's like,
Ryan said he would never play
unfortunately-
Heroscape again.
Why does
Like the
Joe
way
know?
this whole, yeah, unfortunately, the way this whole AI thing worked, I couldn't go back to the story and like write a second part to it, because it'd be fun to like have like a second part where the Heroscape demon is maybe kidnapped some guys named Chris and Patrick and see how that story were to play out or something, But unfortunately, I don't know. It is what it is. It kind of
I think
forgets
you
what
could
you
probably
told it.
plug this in and say make a sequel to this.
Yeah.
You might be able to. And
Yeah, what a
You know
cliffhanger.
so much. You're like, oh yeah, that's the Heroscape demon. I've encountered him
Yeah,
before.
that's clearly I remember
Makes
that.
perfect sense.
The Heroscape demon.
Yeah.
Where's that card at?
I think it's because you've been a YouTube Heroscaper for so long that through your job you've just
picked it
sort of
up.
accumulated the knowledge that this is
Yeah.
just a thing
You
have to
know what
deal
a
with
Heroscape
in
demon
your
is.
job.
That's right. Like, why am I so knowledgeable about the Heroscape?
Yeah, this is looking like your standard Heroscape demon here. You gotta go with its lair to get rid of it if you ever want to play this Heroscape game again.
Oh man, and the timing was perfect too. Like the Iron Man cameo, like steps out of the car, just like suit, like unbuttons the suit. Like, guys, we got a demon.
Yeah, we got it.
Like that's like the Wonder Woman like cameo, just like the famous YouTuber Joe Crazy.
I'm thinking like
out of
man.
the car.
I'm thinking like
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell from like Evil Dead as well. Like a little bit because I just
I
watched
was thinking
that.
the
Just
Sam
watched that.
Jackson at the end of Iron Man 1. Yeah, but
That's awesome.
I'm assembling. I'm here for the team.
The
I'm here for
Heroscape
the ToV
initiative.
podcast. Are you guys? Is that you guys?
The Heroscape theme plays in the background as it fades to black. Like
I mean, I will say that the most horrifying thing about that whole thing was number one, a Heroscape game being totally destroyed by electricity.
Yeah.
yes.
That's
rest-
scarier
rest-
than you never playing Heroscape ever again.
Rest in peace, Heroscape game. And then the second thing was, that quote for me,
The
which
AI
will
thinks
never
you would
see
never
the
play.
light of day again.
That's all it took. You were scared straight. You're just like, nope, I'm not.
I'm never playing Heroscape.
The
Well,
only way to defeat the Heroscape demon is to play Heroscape, Ryan. So we have to convince you to play again.
To be perfectly honest, if that were to happen to my Heroscape stuff, I don't think I would want to play it again.
Oh boy!
You notice the demon was able to somehow blow up Heroscape from upstairs in the house into downstairs in the house?
Well, it was lightning from his fingertips.
Yeah.
I suppose.
I mean, if you know anything about lightning in Heroscape, it targets one figure and then 3 spaces away from that figure, and then 2 spaces from that figure. So it can warp around corners.
Yeah. The Heroscape demon has no concept of space and time.
Exactly.
Right.
Did we break into somebody's random house and that's why the demon chased out of some house?
That's amazing.
lot
I
of
also-
problems with this story.
I think it's funny, Jason, you were the one who got to put the prompts in, so I think it's a little suspicious that you were so brave to threaten this Heroscape demon. Like, you were the one facing down
Yes.
this figure in a cloak saying nothing with glowing red eyes in the house. You're like, okay, listen, we won't hurt you if you just tell us what we want. I don't know. I don't know what you
Amazing.
put into the computer to make that happen.
I also like how you all
may
just
have
leave
done
the
things
house
like that, but
and sit in the stairs for a bit. You're just like, let's think about this for a second.
Jason is the real
okay, I'm
hero of the
punching it all
story.
into Google Bard right now.
Mhm.
We have a Google Bard sequel.
Oh, nice.
So until next time.
Yeah, so
Yeah, for next time. Oh my god.
Until next
Amazing.
time, we'll
Yo,
get,
that
we'll
was
get the sequel
that was
to
an absolute banger.
another, a scary story based off the game Heroscape, not written by a human hand.
I can see
It
the
is-
difference, right, guys? So
Until
I know. Well, me
no,
too.
but
It is, you spend like thousands of hours honing your craft, and then an AI goes and writes a way more entertaining story in like 2 seconds. It's this is where I turn the camera off to start crying.
I don't know if we call this story more
tough. That
entertaining.
was tough to just. that was
Maybe
a lot of
inadvertently
fun.
laughable.
I love it. I love it. So yeah,
that was good.
that has been us reading the first ever Heroscape lore story written by AI.
The ToV lore. That's how you guys all met, right?
ToV lore.
Yep.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Now I'm
It
curious
was,
what
like,
car did I pull up
historical.
in.
That's our origin story. Yeah.
If you're a YouTuber, I assume it's like a McLaren or something.
Let me see
At the
here.
at the very least, a BMW.
Joe.
The sequel
Joe
doesn't
can
say
speak
what
on
your
that.
car was.
Damn it. That's
Okay.
okay.
But yes, lovely.
Oh my god.
Lovely.
Oh.
Lovely. All right, now my throat is really, it's getting torn apart, and even though I'm trying to mute every time I cough, but I am coughing quite a bit during this. So let's see here. I'm just looking at the.
Do we have any
list.
comments tonight from last week?
Yes, we are going to do comments. I'm just making sure I've covered everything else. I believe I have. Yep. I just make sure that I have everything else. Okay. So yes, we will get to comments. Just give me. Yeah. Definitely. The throat needs some care. All right. But yeah, we'll get to YouTube comments and we will wrap up for tonight. All right, let's get to this. Boom. So now these have come from a few of the podcasts before because we haven't addressed some of these. So we're just gonna read a few. First from Justin, and let me see here. Yeah, okay. And this is from the Adventure Together Games TimeStrike podcast, and Justin says, I wasn't able to join live because I had tickets to see Ringo Starr and his all-star band, which was
nice.
fantastic. This episode is among the best this podcast has ever produced and rivals the interviews with the AOA team. I saw screenshots on Facebook of both TimeStrike and the source tiles and didn't know what to think. Within 20 minutes, I was convinced and will be backing the Kickstarter day one. The TimeStrike minis look awesome, especially Jake Allen and Zorkra. Looking forward to playing the game and seeing what the future holds. Can we please get cowboys or elves in the future in TimeStrike? I think I was asking. So we'll see, Justin. But yeah, like we were saying earlier, yeah, I think anybody who does their due diligence and takes a look at the interview and what these guys have, I think they're going to be very, very interested in this. Any other thoughts from you guys? No.
Sorry, I was
Definitely,
distracted.
Okay.
You have a nice car according to the AI, by the way, Joe.
Okay.
Very
Okay,
nice
good.
car.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry, totally derailed you guys there.
Oh yeah, it was a really good interview.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, solid discussion, explanation of everything. Really good opportunity to give the Adventure Together crew a chance to introduce their idea and sell it really well, and they did a really good job doing so. So
Yeah, I think
If
so.
you're kind of on the fence about it, or just kind of want to know more about it, listen
Definitely
to the
watch it.
podcast or watch some of their live stuff they do. Their enthusiasm is infectious.
For sure. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, they're right to be excited. They
Mhm.
have something very
Very cool.
very cool, and so much potential. They and I think especially, I don't know if I offered my thoughts on this when we did the recap, but I think their terrain, TimeStrike, I think is a really cool concept. I think the terrain itself is crazy in like how much potential it has. It's so interesting. Like the gaming market is like so oversaturated, and yet they somehow like hit a market that has like no competition, like
Right.
with how like innovative they've been. And I think like, man, like, can you imagine if like Gloomhaven was developed on the source terrain? Like how incredible that would
Oh
have
my
been.
God.
Like someone could make like the next like Stardew Valley of board games on the source terrain. Like that's how much potential it has. And I think at some point in the future there's going to be a hit that makes it like an overnight success. So I'm looking forward to being one of the early adopters.
Yeah,
sure.
and that's the beauty of the source system too, because since they are open source, they're inviting people to come on and say, make something out of this, and we will assist you with this, which is, I mean, there's not really other people who do that. So yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's awesome.
Absolutely. All right, and then we got G Busy saying, my mind was completely blown. Again, this was about Adventure Together.
Wait, can I ask
TimeStrike.
one quick question about the
Yeah.
previous discussion? Sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot to mute my microphone. With the whole open source thing, do they elaborate what that means? Like, are they giving out, like, say, like the schematics of the files and how they lock together so you can create your own, or what are they doing exactly?
I think there are 3D printed options for that, but I think it was also, I mean, from what I understand, for publishing different games other than TimeStrike, because they plan to do that themselves. TimeStrike isn't going to be the only game. But it's going to be based off whatever game is going to be able to play. It's going to be based off the source system, the source, the trains and such. Yeah, that's what they mean on that. My voice is really going. My gosh. All right, now, okay. G Busy says my mind was completely blown. I've never been this excited about a game outside of Heroscape. From the world building potential to the focus on community and the passionate team behind it all, it's everything you could ask for. Yeah, again, just check them out. Check them out for sure. And then talking about the Renegade stream, Demon Hunter Pillar P86, I don't know who this person is, has said, I appreciate the designers, Lee and Rowan, at least have nostalgic experience with the game. Doesn't sound like they're active in the community, hence all the lurking. They're getting more active now. But it's a good sign that they have at least been familiar with the game for several years. I'm very curious on how competitive play ends up panning out, specifically whether what the competitive player base designates as the championship remains at ScapeCon or moves back to Gen Con. It's always funny discussing drive times across different states, comparing the big ones to the small ones. From my location, it takes about as long to drive to the other corner of Nebraska as it does to drive to Canada, 8-ish hours. I appreciate your commentary. We shall see where things go from here.
You're in Nebraska, me too.
Mm-hmm.
If depending on which side of the state you're driving on, hit up Lincoln Seasonals. We'll be having one coming up in January. If you're next to Colorado, I understand. But yeah, if you're watching this podcast, hit us up.
I've driven through Nebraska before, so I know exactly what you're talking about there, Ryan.
Oh, you remember that? It didn't just get like totally blocked out of your mind as you drove past and you were in Colorado. You're like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, well, it's just everything gets flat, after driving through the mountains, the Rockies, and then everything just gets flat. But I'll say one thing: staying in Nebraska just for a short time. It's farm country, and there's nothing wrong with that. People are very down to earth there, from what we saw. So yeah. But
Yeah, that's a funny coincidence.
but yeah. Anyway, oh my goodness, my voice. Anything else about this person that we don't know saying about Renegade? Basically says all we need to say. I think, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I do want to point. Lee has mentioned that in the past, she hasn't really been able to interact with communities, which is why she mentioned the lurking thing. And she just wants people to know that now, like, she has permission to interact now, like it's as game producer Heroscape. So that's why we've been seeing her. Like at least from every time I've popped in, she's messaged probably daily, or at least every other day to the community. And there's like ongoing discussions, and obviously people trying to get her to break her NDA. But as we know, it is under NDA, so it will not be broken. The law upholds.
And again, I extend that invite. Come on the podcast. Yep. My Discord is Tales of Valhalla official. Look me up. So, yeah. All right. How about then we wrap up this podcast and go to final thoughts. And how this works is I will point to somebody or point somebody out, and they will plug away, and then they'll give their thoughts on this podcast, anything that stood out to them, and we'll get down to myself and we'll close it. So how about we start with our guest tonight, Ryguy. Go ahead and give your thoughts first and plug away.
Oh boy. I mean, yeah, this was a ton of fun. So first of all, thank you guys for inviting me on here. I've been watching you guys for a long time, and I've been watching the Tales of Valhalla for quite a long time. So if you ever want a guest writer, hit me up. That'd be a ton of fun. Thank you guys for having me. I guess if I had anything to plug, it would be the new YouTube channel. We're going to be making some competitive focused content mostly. So I'll be streaming my competitive games. I just streamed the OST v Cheese Finals versus Earthling, and that's on the channel right now. And then I've got the OHS Finals against Vegetarian 18 coming up this week sometime, so keep an eye out for that. I appreciate everyone who's taken the initiative to subscribe without anything on the homepage. That's meant a lot. The community is really supportive. I think once the actual videos start coming out, hopefully they'll be high quality and high caliber and entertaining, and they'll be engaging. Because I know the online interface can seem pretty foreign if you don't know what you're looking for specifically. I personally can't get enough of the streams and other people's streams and 10 point under and stuff, but you're looking at a Google Doc, you're like, this isn't Heroscape. But I'm hoping they're engaging enough that people will be entertained. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being with us tonight, and appreciate everything you do. Yeah, definitely keep in contact for the future. All right, and Jeremy, go ahead.
All right. Well, overall, congrats everybody on 40 episodes. Pretty solid number, and on the conclusion of National Heroscape Day, which was really cool. I think we're on. Let's just start in 2006. So math required at this moment. What, like 10, 14, 17 years of National Heroscape celebrations. So this is the 17th year. So that's really, really cool. I got to go and put up I built a table of the giants at my local game store, and my goal, of course, was to just get conversations started. I didn't really have a lot of time to host too many tournaments or anything like that because I was also working that day. So I was like, I'm just gonna kind of just be a living demo, kind of be like, hey, if anyone has any questions. And I actually had some people walk into the store, and they were looking for cards, and then they saw my little board, and they're like, hey, what's this? And I was like, well, this is Heroscape, and it's coming back next year. And it was just a really cool thing to be able to do, because last year when I was advertising Heroscape at the local game store, the conversation basically was, this is Heroscape, and it might be coming back through a crowdfund. But now I get to say, this is Heroscape, and it's coming back next year. And that's so much more comforting. It's so much more easier. I mean, let's be honest. If we're talking sales, you want solid sales. You need to give something solid. And being able to tell people it is on the way was very, very cool. So did have a good time doing that on Saturday. Being able to present all of that and stuff and kind of share that information. And the game store owner has been really, really, really accommodating for letting me just kind of come in and set stuff up. And he's really excited too, because he did used to play Heroscape back in the day. So hearing that's coming back has got him excited. So like I said, my goal is to like try to do something. Hopefully if they like they said in the show, if they are planning on doing organized play day 1 of launch, I want to be helping that push forward in my area. And then and we'll see how that works out in terms of longer terms and what that entails. I mean, if they start handing out prizes and stuff like that, I'll let everyone know, hey, go visit your local gaming store and ask about Heroscape. You could get a character in the process. Who knows? Who knows what the plans are? But that would be a really, really cool option. In terms of plugging in what I've been doing, I've actually been kind of off the block for a little bit. Haven't been doing much video content. I got commissioned to write a backstory, so I've been working on that with a friend and doing all the research for that. So that because I'm doing all this research, I'm not really on the screen. I haven't really been doing anything. Probably jumping a little bit back because we took kind of a week break, and during the week break, I got invited to so. This is a whole different community, so you might not know these names, but their name is Mr. Happy and Sly, aka Great Fox. They're community figures of the Final Fantasy XIV community. They do a podcast, but their podcast has like 200-something episodes. I mean, they've been doing it for a very, very long time, and they invited me on their show, it was 2 Fridays ago, to talk some lore about Final Fantasy XIV, and that blew my mind. I got to mention Heroscape in front of 300 people. I definitely took advantage to do that because I was like, look, like I want everyone to know that is one of the main products I want to be associated with, and this is my big shining moment. So when he gave me the plug, like we're doing now, he was like, all right, plug yourself. I was like, I work with Heroscape. But that was a really cool opportunity, and I've been just kind of just going off of that, and hopefully once again my goal is to just help promote knowledge of the game. Getting people to play it, getting people to learn about it. And of course, my favorite stuff is the lore of Heroscape, when talking about it with everybody, sharing the story elements, and catching everyone up to the story that was told and left alone for 13 years, and hoping to see we're finally getting closure 13 years later. So that's going to be pretty cool. And if you, like always, if you ever have any lore talks, you want to talk any narrative stuff, you can always find me on, Twitter, or formerly Twitter, now X, Twitch, YouTube, all those sites under the Eslam Collate, ESSALIM. You can find me under that handle, and feel free to DM me any questions you might have about lore stuff. I'm always down to have a good conversation about some story time. So, yeah, and I yield my time.
Thank you, Jeremy. And Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, so I learned a few things tonight. First of all, I guess there's a National Heroscape Day. That was kind of news to me. Also, it seems that AI's got a long way to go to catch up with Ryguy down here, especially since it seems to always want to say Jason, Ryan, and Jeremy nonstop over and over again. And It also believes that apparently Joe Crazy has a car that's worth approximately $137,000.
Dude, I wish!
More about that in the sequel.
Joe, what are you doing?
Apparently in the wrong industry.
He's an extremely popular YouTuber. You can afford that kind of stuff.
I mean, extremely popular.
It's telling the future.
Yeah, it is.
Perhaps it is. But yeah,
Are
other
we
than
fighting
that,
Heroscape demons in the future? Oh, man.
Yes.
Actually, the Heroscape demon comes back in the sequel, apparently.
Oh, no spoilers!
Oh, sorry. Well, we're hunting him down, so, okay. Anyway, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. You can find me over at tabletopbattlefield.com or Rocco Robotics over on YouTube. So, thanks for having me, Ryan. It's been a fun night.
Thank you, Jason. Josiah, go ahead.
And I am Josiah, more formally known as the Roguescaper. I haunt the interwebs in the YouTube section, making paint tutorials and other Scape-related content. I just dropped a video recently where I put on a very shoddy Sunland cosplay, and there's some details for some giveaways on that. So if you want to check that out, be sure there's some fun stuff available. And yeah, just great stories, Ryguy. You do a great job of weaving a very descriptive and compelling story, so I always love diving into those. And NGC is releasing their Wave 3 with some spooky stuff coming out October 31st, so be on the lookout for that. The announcements will be on Facebook and Discord and stuff like that. And yeah, happy Halloween and happy belated Heroscape Day. My 2 favorite holidays all in 1 month, so
Nice.
I yield my time.
Thank you, Josiah. Joe, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Man, boy, wow, what an episode. Honestly, congrats everybody. Another episode. We did it. Fantastic job. So much fun to be with all you guys. Because I feel like the past 2 podcasts were like, well, I wasn't here for the live stream of the event, but I think Source was last time, right?
Source was kind of last time, but what was directly last time was the Renegade stream. And then Source was the week before.
Yeah, so it's been like, we really haven't had like a somewhat normal podcast in a while.
Yeah.
So this has been a nice comfort. It's been nice. And I feel like I just needed to say that. But definitely on my end here, I'm still busy working 3 jobs. YouTube as my 4th job. I've been on hiatus for a bit, but I'm hoping to come back very soon. And boy, oh boy, the notes on my table next to my desk of video ideas is increasing more than I expected it would. Lots of content, lots of stuff to be excited about for Heroscape and Heroscape adjacent stuff. So, man, I got my life's work over here to keep up with all the news. But I've been going to all the events. I've been to Massachusetts, Maryland. Seeing the Mars group. Been to Philly. I might go to Philly for PAX. They're doing PAX Unplugged. And I believe Adventure Together will be there. And I think Alexandros, our friend Alexandros from NGC, will be going. So that's been my like tug strings. Like, yeah, I think I should be free that weekend. I'm not sure. We'll see. So based on the schedule, I might be going to PAX Unplugged. So keep your eyes out for that. If you can go, let me know if you're going. Maybe to increase my odds of going. But yeah, other than that, ScapeCon East is coming up. I'm absolutely going to that.
Nice.
So if you're on the East Coast and you got a day or two, November 10th through the 13th, we'll be in Jersey. ScapeCon East. Lots of events. I'm going to be running Heroscape Adventure for 2 days. I'm creating my own Heroscape Adventure to showcase that game and some other custom terrain and other fun miniatures. And I'm really excited because I think there's a lot of people in the community that are like, Joe, what is Heroscape Adventure? What is all this? And I was like, well, I know I really haven't been there to put out a video more about it other than the tutorial thing I made.
Oh, we did a podcast about it though.
Well, that was the pitch.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
That was like legit the pitch, and then I had made that like whole video explaining it all, like really just like flexing out. Not flexing out. I don't know. The words don't work for me today. Just fleshing out the rules and how to run it and all that. So, but you can finally experience it at ScapeCon East, and I'm so excited to do that for you guys. And I'll be recording. I won't be recording the Heroscape Adventures. I'll be recording other games. But yes, please come out to ScapeCon East. I'm looking super excited for that. I'm looking forward to that one a lot. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I've been busy, but I will be back to content soon enough. Big bangs. Heroscape 2024? Hell yeah?
Yep. Hell yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there for all of it. So with that said, I'm on YouTube. I'm on Twitch. Go watch all the archival footage while I'm cooking and stirring for the next release. And don't forget, I am not crazy. I'm Joe Crazy.
All right,
I yield my time.
Thank you, Joe.
And quite possibly a Heroscape Demon Slayer. So.
Right.
Oh yeah, totally forgot about
And totally not
I
my
am the Demon
shackles.
Slayer.
Totally not.
To your
Totally not
three
my
jobs.
shackles.
That's your fourth job on the side.
It is. It's my fifth job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yep. And I'm Ryan, Tales of Valhalla, and not gonna say too much because the throat is hurt. But I will say this one thing: good times are coming. Possibly great times are coming, and we look forward to experiencing it and sharing it with you all when those times and moments come. Thank you all for watching. Thank you everybody who were commenting, who are viewing live tonight, and of course thank you everybody who's watching on the Audiosphere or listening on the Audiosphere as well, or watching this on replay. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate the support. And with that, I will say what I always say at the end of these. Oh yeah, of course, I live stream on Wednesday and Sunday nights if I'm not doing a podcast. So look forward to seeing you all on Wednesday. We have some pretty good conversations when we do. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it. And we'll see you guys next time. Later now. Bye bye.